Jemima, you can start.
All right, hello everybody. Good evening and welcome to tonight's info session at Moringa School and Internship alongside Flatiron. My name is Moringa and I'm going to be your host for tonight's event. Next slide, please. Hello, hi, good evening. So my name is Jemima. I'm going to be hosting tonight's event alongside with my colleague Reagan from Flatiron High and Peter as well. He's going to be joining us very shortly. But whilst we do that, there's a few rules to tonight's meeting. Would like that you mute your microphones so that we don't get background noises. Feel free to ask any questions that you have. Engage with us. If you have any questions or if you have any feedback, you can write that in the chat box and we will take care of that. Please try as much as possible to be respectful to each other, language and all of that. Would really appreciate it. And above all, be present so that you can understand everything that is happening here this evening. Right, so as we move on, I'm going to share a brief of the agenda with us. We're going to have a talk of the software engineering course, an overview from Moringa School as well as Flatiron. Reagan Jones is going to be taking from Moringa School, as well as Peter Muturi Reagan Jones from Flatiron School and Peter Muturi from Moringa School. Apologies for that. So that we are going to discuss the admission process and I'll be taking that. Then we take a few questions and then we'll be out of here. So tonight's event, we hope that you'll be able to ask any questions that has been on your mind since we launched our partnership as well as we started taking applications for the course. So thank you everyone for joining in and let's take it from here. So first off, I'd like Reagan to do a quick introduction and then we take it from Peter and then I do an introduction of myself and then we continue. Reagan?
Hi, everyone. Excited to be here today talking with you all. I've been with Flatiron School for about 3.5 years now. So I'm excited to talk more about the courses, as well as provide any insights that I can. So I hope you'll ask questions and I hope this is helpful. And I'll pass it over to Peter.
All right. Thanks, Reagan. Hi, guys. Peter Muturi. Technical mentor in Moringa School. I've been here, I think, for 3 years. I'm excited to see how this pans out and feel free to ask any questions. And I also hope that the excitement is contagious. Yeah, I think I'll pass it back to Jemima.
All right, thanks, Reagan and Peter. My name is Jemima, and I am the admissions lead at Impact Hub Accra. And like my colleague said, feel free to ask any questions concerning admissions, concerning the course overview, concerning the classroom setting, and any other question that you have in mind. I'm pretty sure we'll be able to address all of that now. So for now, I'm going to hand over the reins to my colleague Reagan, who would be doing a course overview presentation from Flatiron School.
Yeah, thank you so much. And you can go ahead and click ahead, Sasha. So Flatiron School has been around for about 9 or 10 years now, which is pretty crazy. We started out in New York and have since expanded across the US with physical campuses, as well as with partnerships across the world including Moringa, which we're super excited about. For those of you who aren't familiar with our programs, we're really focused on making technology roles accessible to everyone. Personally, I have a biology degree. I'm obviously not using it. And that's where I really align with Flatiron School's mission, to just be able to provide that access and to make these opportunities available to anyone from any sort of background. So the learning objectives of the software engineering course are to help develop a foundation in programming fundamentals, as well as object-oriented programming, working with APIs, learning database modeling and object relational mapping, as well as model view controller, and to finally at the end of the program, be able to execute application deployment. None of that may make sense to you, and that is absolutely okay. That is really the point of this program, is to teach these things, and to really set you up for success in your first technical role. So this is all like buzzwords. Don't be nervous about it at all. Sasha, do you want to click to the next slide? As we dig a little bit deeper into what the course includes, we covered JavaScript, HTML, CSS, and React on the front end, and Ruby and Rails and databases on the back end. We really want to make sure that you're getting a comprehensive view of programming languages, so a front end and a back end language, to really set you up for success as you job seek. Many of our students typically will specialize in either a front end or a back end development role, especially for their first job. But being a full stack engineer, I think, is definitely the goal for a lot of students, just because they are really excited about both languages. But as you go through the program, you'll find that there's something that you're even more excited about, or that you really have an aptitude for. And we definitely encourage that. But by the end of the program, you will be proficient in both JavaScript on the front end and Ruby on Rails on the back end. What you'll find is that, these programming languages aren't all inclusive to what companies are hiring for. There are dozens, if not hundreds, of programming languages out there. And it definitely makes sense for you to continue learning once you graduate the program. And that's something that Flatiron School and Moringa School are really aligned on, is that we're really hoping that we're teaching you how to learn programming languages, so that once you graduate, you can continue learning, getting more tools in your tool belt, and just being a really strong developer, because we've taught you how to learn, how to work with others, how to problem solve, just to become really well-rounded. You can go ahead and jump to the next slide. And like I mentioned, our entire program is based on helping you land a job. I've actually, since I've been with Flatiron School, I was on the career services team, working on our employer partnerships team, creating these relationships with employers around the world. So I've really had a good insight into what employers are looking for and why they're excited about students that finish our curriculum. Many of our students go into these jobs listed: software engineer, web developer, front-end developer, back-end developer, full stack engineer. But I would say this is really just barely scratching the surface. We also have application developers, and we have students that have sales aptitude, and they want to go and be a solutions engineer and help support sales teams. We also have students who would feel more comfortable starting out in a support role. All of these roles are definitely accessible to our students, and we want to make sure that following this curriculum, you do see a path to a technical role that is exciting for you, and that you see career longevity in. That's something that we're really passionate about, and the curriculum really reflects that. We have a lot of paired programming throughout the program, as well as group projects, and more importantly, independent projects, because that is what employers are going to want to see. When you graduate, they're really excited to see everything that you've learned, but they want to make sure that this is knowledge that you hold internally. And that's what we really focus on as well. Next slide, please. And like I mentioned at the top, I mean, this course is really for everyone. You know, that's why I sort of skimmed over the course overview when we talk about JavaScript and Ruby and all of these technical things. Right now, you don't need to know any of that. I think it's important to be excited about learning more and excited about digging into what all of that technical jargon means. But what we really want are candidates who are detail-oriented, who are interested and passionate about technology, are really hardworking, and are great problem solvers. I was just having a conversation earlier with Jim on the Moringa team, where having soft skills is almost just as important as those technical skills once you graduate. So as long as you have passion and you're excited about coding and really just want to dig deeper, then you're going to do really great, and you're going to be a really great candidate to these companies. And then next slide, please. And some of the value propositions that we have with Moringa, and I sort of already mentioned a few of these things, but we are the #1 rated coding bootcamp. We have a lot of value and backing, and employers and students have been really excited to work with us, which we're really grateful for. We also align our curriculum with the industry. So we have a board of curriculum directors that are industry leaders who are reviewing our curriculum on an annual basis. Probably more than that, actually, probably more like 2 or 3 times a year, to make sure that we're providing something that's valuable to the market. We want to make sure that the curriculum and the students coming out of our program are going to be competitive in this job market. So having that board of directors is really important to us. We also have a robust learning platform. We want to make sure that, you know, this is going to be a challenging course. It's not, you know, super easy. A lot of us are learning new toolkits and an entirely new language, literally. So we want to make sure that we are giving you the tools to be successful, from the platform that we use, as well as from the instructional staff that Moringa would have on site for you guys. As well as an emphasis on hands-on learning. We want to make sure that you can really hit the ground running once you graduate from Moringa School. We don't, you know, it's sort of like when we talk about a bachelor's degree in a computer science program versus going through a boot camp like this. You don't necessarily get that hands-on learning and get those applicable skills until you start that first job. Whereas at Flatiron School, we really want you to graduate and be ready to be a developer or an engineer. And another piece of that are going to be the portfolio projects. So within each module, you're creating projects, and many of those times it is a paired project or a group project. And then the final module of the course is going to be an independent project, really to make sure that you're honing those skills as your own developer, and so that you have something to list on your resume, because that's going to be something that is super exciting and compelling for employers to see from potential applicants. We also provide a collaborative learning environment. You need to be able to lean on your peers and seek help and resources, and having that sense of community is really helpful as you go through such an intensive program. And then to round us all out, again, just mentioning outcomes. All of these little pieces really align to being an outcomes focused program, where if we're not able to get students a job or put them in a position to get a job in this field after they graduate, then this curriculum isn't working. So it's really important to us that we're providing that stepping stone for all of our students. And we have the outcomes to prove it, which is really amazing and has made my time here really enjoyable. So I'm going to pass it over to Peter, but I'm excited to hear any questions that y'all have at the end of the meeting.
All right, thanks, Regan. Thanks, Sasha. Thank you. So we're going to take a look at the delivery model for the content that you guys are going to go through, and also the support system that is around Moringa School, even as you partake this journey. So for our delivery model, it is broken down into 5 facets. So the whole of it, or the blanket statement, we can just call it blended learning. So blended learning is, we are going to integrate the different branches of learning. So from doing asynchronous learning, since the whole course is going to be online. So see, from you doing asynchronous learning to synchronous learning, meaning then that when you're taking the autonomy to go through the content by yourself, and even when you are able to meet with your technical mentors, so that one, they are able to check on your progress, two, they are able to assist you where they need be, and three, you're also able to get a bit of coaching and also brainstorming session with your technical mentor. So in these 5 facets, like I said, the blanket statement will be blended learning. But if we get to break them down, the blended learning is in the nature of the way you're going to go through the whole course, where majority of it is going to be online. For the guys that will need space, they will be able to get to the space when need be. But when you're interacting with the content, you'll do it by yourself. And in a weekly, you'll have like 3 lectures where you'll have time to interact with the TM as a class, and also you'll have something called one-on-ones. So this will allow for you to be in a space, both mental and emotional, to talk to your TM. And also in this space, you can be able to, one, jot down your goals, and your TM can be able to hold you accountable and hold your hand even as you go through the journey. So in our content, these 5 classes or facets guide us, where one, through the whole course, you will have it as project-based. So what this means is that for every module, you will have to do a project that will allow you to be able to go through to the next module. And this ties down together with performance-based retention. So through the whole course, you will need to show progress even as you learn. The course is for everyone, but also growth is important. And the growth is not biased, but it is based on performance. And the performance here is how you perform in your projects and also in your lab. So for the project, you will have one, like the way Regan mentioned, you will have projects that you will do alone, and you'll have projects that you will work with in a team. And what this does is, one, like the facet that we have where we have the work simulation, because in a team, even as you graduate, rarely will you ever work alone. So in these group projects, this will allow you to nurture your team skills. And as you do that also, we will be able to also give you skills, like Regan mentioned, soft skills. So in soft skills, one, this is when you're pitching out your idea, where you have to let people be able to buy in, or even where you have the technical mentor being able to buy into your idea. And also not forgetting that with this soft skill, they will allow you to be an all-round developer, but not to just fall into the category of the basement developer, where you just have a hoodie and your laptop in the basement and you're just probably writing your code. That has changed. And us, what we can promise to you is giving you an experience that will allow you to be all-rounded. One, able to understand how to work with your teammates. Two, able to understand how you work best with yourself. And all this will allow you, even when you're working, to be able to know how to teach yourself. So the main goal of all these things is how to learn, for you to learn how you learn best, and also to gain the different skills that will be able to set you up for the dream job that you have. Thank you, Sasha. Next slide. So having said all of this, sorry for that. Having said all of this, then the bigger question is, why Moringa? Why would you want to join Moringa, and why are you even here in the first place? So for starters, I think, next slide, for starters is what we can what we pride ourselves in is that our content is market driven. So it is not just out of the blues, but our content allows us to be able to at least meet the need that is in the market. So you can be sure that whatever you're learning will be relevant even as you go through, so that you don't have to worry that after I am done school, what is next for me? But we can assure you that whatever you're learning is indeed going to solve the needs of the market. That is one. Another point, next slide. Another point for why Moringa is that it is an accelerated learning experience. So what this means, just to mention, is instead of you taking 4 years to learn one thing and in long periods, this has been put down for you that you can learn a lot in a short period. And in this accelerated learning, the fear might be if we have probably blended everything into maybe a small cup, wouldn't it be bitter? Wouldn't it be friendly? But what we can assure you for sure is that in this accelerated learning, the content or even the way the course is structured, it is friendly for a person that, one, they do not have a background even in IT related courses or something, but it will allow you, even if you do not know anything about programming, by the end of the course, you will be able to understand, you will be able to perform the skill, and you'll be able to even work within a team. For our third point, next slide. The career readiness. So if you remember in the different facets that I mentioned in the blended learning, I said that 1, it is project-based, 2, it is performance-based, and 3, we also get to simulate how the workplace is built. If you think about it, these 3 things don't really stop at school, but they also play a part even when you get to job, because one, jobs are performance-based. If you're a developer, they're going to be project-based. And another thing, in work simulation, you're also going to work within a team. And by the time you get to that place, you would have already practiced these skills. It will not be entirely new, even probably if maybe in an organization they do the team projects different. You'll just have a good background that will allow you to even catch up really, really fast. And to the last point, that to answer the question on why Moringa, it is a comprehensive learning experience. What I mean by this is, one, there is a practical approach to it. So the project based in our learning model gets to enable you to be able not just to learn a skill, but to be able to practice it. And repetition is the mother of perfection. So what this means is, as you get to do a lot of project-based, you also get to be conversant, one, with the language or technology that you're learning. And when you get conversant, that means that also your development skill is also very fast. Another thing is that you get to learn the why. So the why here is based on principle. Even as you go through the content or through the course, you get to learn the why behind what you are doing, so that you do not just jump blindly, but you also get to enjoy and understand why you are taking the certain steps or the different steps as you solve problems. And I think for the last point that is not even in the slide is that it will be fun. It will be fun to learn, not just from your technical mentors, but also from your peers and also from yourself. You'll learn not just about React, HTML, Ruby, ORMs, but you'll also get to learn about how well you learn and how well you do not learn. And I think that's my time. Thank you, Sasha.
All right, thank you very much, Peter. I think I like the last point better. He says it will be fun, and I am hoping. I mean, I was wishing I was part of the class because I wanted to see how fun it was going to be. Anyway, so now I'm here to talk about the admission process when it comes to admissions in Ghana with Impact Hub Accra. Sasha? Next, okay. So the requirements to join, I mean, it's a working laptop, obviously. So it has to be a Core i5 7th gen upwards, just for the speed, because we believe anything lower than that is going to slow your work down. And yeah, so with that, a 4 gig RAM, I mean, ideally it should be an 8 gig RAM, but a 4 is also acceptable. And then a 500 gigabytes of storage on your machine. You should have stable internet connection. Yes, the internet, I mean, we know internet is like everything we do these days. So we need stable internet connection so that you don't have problems connecting with class. And then also the full-time availability, because it's a very intensive course, as Reagan and Peter have said. It would require that you be available for between the hours of 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. so that you can be able to take on your project, you can be able to work with your colleagues and make this learning experience fun. Next slide, please. Okay, so how to apply? You go to the link up there, moringaschool.com/Ghana. When you look at the top right button, you're going to see the Ghana and the Kenyan button. Click on the Ghana button, and then you go to apply today. Next slide, please. So when you click on the apply, it's going to give you a form that you're going to fill. So you enter the details that it's requesting for, your name, email address, and the rest of the information that is needed. After that, you're going to receive a link, an email, sorry, that will give you access to a link to interview and to schedule an interview, with Impact Hub Accra, or you can go proceed to make payments. So you can either, if you have any questions that you want to ask us, or you are not sure about something, you can schedule an interview with us and we'll be readily available to assist you. If you feel that you have all the information that you need and you wouldn't need any other information from us, then you can move ahead and make the payments. It's currently set to the discount, the 15% discount that we are running, which ends on the 18th of this month. So for the prep course, you're required to pay 2,656 Ghana cedis, but because of the discounts that we are running, the 15% promo for the early bird, you pay 2,287 Ghana cedis. And the discount ends on the 18th of this month, so you could take advantage of the discounts. Yeah. And also the class dates that the class starts on the 28th of this month, sorry. So you can go ahead and make payments if you haven't been able to make payments. And if you have any other questions, you can reach out to me by sending an email to moringa.accra@impacthub.net, or you can send messages to any of our social media pages at Impact Hub Accra or at Moringa School, and we'll be ready to assist you. Thank you. So I think now we are opening up for questions. If you have any questions, and you can unmute your mic and ask your question, or you can just send your question into the chat box and we'll be glad to assist. Thank you. No questions? Anyone who has a question, if you are shy of speaking into the microphone, you can just type it into the chat box. I'll read it out for you and then we can do this together.
There's got to be some questions out there.
All right, Joseph, you can please speak.
Hi, thank you, and good evening from Ghana to all. I think the question I want to ask is concerning special arrangements for people who will not be able to capture some of the sessions, right? So, for example, due to certain issues, because the time is actually from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., which is quite intense. And then we miss a part of the sessions. What is the arrangement to help assist those who will miss this part? Do we have a special arrangement where we can reach out to special tutors or assistants who would be able to walk us through it so that we would not be found wanting and lacking? Thank you.
All right, thank you, Joseph. So can one of us take this question? Jim?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for the question, Joseph. I'm leading the product team here. So we have part of the Flatiron course is that we have a learning management system, a platform where all the content is hosted, so you can read that whenever you like. We also, the lectures that we do, we record and also post on there. So if you do have trouble missing a day, I think it's also important to look at the schedule as well, so you can plan a bit around it. It is an intense boot camp, but that intensity is part of the benefit it gives you. So there is room for some flexibility. If you miss this, you've got to do that thing, but that's what we have. Hope that.
Thank you. Any question? All right, so Cindy is asking if we could give a list of all the program languages we will learn. Reagan, I think you can take that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure that we have a syllabus or curriculum overview that we could share following this. But we'll be covering JavaScript with React and HTML, CSS on the front end, and then Ruby on Rails on the back end. So the programming languages would be JavaScript and Ruby.
All right, Cindy, I hope this answers your question. If you have a follow-up, you can just write in the chat box and then we would answer you. Aside that, anyone else has a question? Please feel free to engage us. You're the reason why we are here. So if you have any questions, just let us know and we will address that. Any questions on the admission process, the requirements, anything, just reach out to us. This is the platform. I mean, you should be able to ask anything of us and we should be able to assist you.
Mark, what's your question?
Thank you, Jemima, and the rest of the team members. My question is around the payment terms. Is it possible to pay in installments?
Yes, I'll take that question. Yes, it's possible to pay in installments. We have a payment plan available, so you could just send a message or reach out to me and we should be able to work on that.
Thank you.
Thank you too. Okay, Sasha, I just see that, but I think we've already answered your question. No question again?
I have a follow-up question. What kind of support is offered to students post-graduation? I think anybody can answer this. Maybe Jim or Peter?
Sorry, repeat the question again.
What kind of support can we expect to receive post-graduation?
All right. Jim, do you want to take it first, or should I go first?
You go, Peter.
All right. So post-graduation, even before you get to graduation, you will be able to be market. And in this, I think also what happens is that you are able not to be placed, but you're able to be given opportunities in which you can be able to attend and also shoot your shot and demonstrate your skill, from which after you've demonstrated it, you can be able to even get hired. So we will always be with you in your journey to allow you to be able to land your first job. Yes. Does that answer your question, Mark?
It does. That sounds exciting. Thank you.
All right, welcome.
I think an important piece to add there as well is that the program is really a full-time program, and many students treat it sort of as your full-time job as you're going through it. And I know that we really want you to focus on the curriculum and just learning those technical skills. And then once you graduate, putting a huge emphasis on job seeking, because it can be a full-time job to get a job at times. So I think that's an important distinction, that you should really use your time during the boot camp to just learn as much as you can. And then after graduation, use that time to keep brushing up on skills, learning new technical skills, and then really focus on the job search.
Great, thank you, Reagan. Do we have any more questions? Okay, so Joseph says at the end of it all, we have some form of access to do like an internship in the industry, with an industry. Okay, I think so. Who takes this question? Peter?
All right, thanks for that question. So the question is, at the end of it all, will you have some form of access to do like an internship with an industry? Sorry, Joseph, kindly clarify the question.
Yeah, thank you very much. So I'm basically trying to understand whether, you know, at the end of it all, you'll be able to assist in linking us to, you know, some firms or some companies that will be able to, you know, build on that experience where we experiment as an intern, or, you know, where we can be able to learn from other, you know, people who are already in the industry. So I'm just trying to understand whether you have that access to link us to certain companies or firms that will be able to do something like a form of internship or something like that. Yeah.
Oh, okay, let me take that. So yes, we have employer partners that are willing to employ or take on some of our students for internship opportunities once they are done with the course. So from time to time, we're going to organize events where they're going to come around and speak to you, talk to you about how the industry works, how things work in the industry as well. And hopefully by the end of the course, we should be able to score you some internship opportunities as well. Does that answer your question, Joseph?
Yes, please, it does. Thank you very much.
Thank you too. Right, so do we have any more questions? No questions? Okay, so I don't know. Do I move that we end today's session, or we should wait a little longer for some questions? What do you guys think?
We have a question from Cindy.
Right, sure, please shoot. Okay, she says, what is the difference between the online and in-person methods of learning, considering most of the courses online? Reagan or Jim?
So the course is fully online in Ghana. So there isn't a difference between the two. But we'll host live lectures online, like, similar to an event like this, with where you'll be with other colleagues. So we'll have a cohort of Ghana-based colleagues. Your peers will be also from Ghana. Does that answer the question? If I'm getting you.
Hi, Cindy, is your question answered? Or you need further explanation?
Hi, sorry, I wasn't home, so I couldn't speak, but no, I've not fully understood. I'm in Kenya.
Oh, you're in Kenya?
Yes, I am. So I saw that the course was mostly online and that you only go twice a week.
So in Kenya, in Kenya, which is where, we started, we have a campus, and there is an option for fully online and an option for coming into campus, and you can choose between those two. That's not yet up and running in Ghana, just online.
Oh.
Some people just prefer to come into our workspace and they prefer to meet people face to face. So it's really like a matter of preference. The actual lessons you do and the sessions we hold and the content you do is the same.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, so do we still have any more questions? No? No questions? Is everybody okay with everything that we've talked about today? Or, yeah, is everybody fine? Are all your questions answered? Do you have any more questions for us? If not, I think I move that we close tonight's meeting. But before we leave, we are going to post a feedback form in the chat box. Please feel free to let us know what your thoughts are on this event. And also, if you have any questions, like I said earlier, you can reach out to us on social media, Impact Hub Accra and Moringa School, or you can send an email to moringa.accra@impacthub.net, or send us a WhatsApp message or call us and we'll be glad to assist you. My name is Shemaima and I was your host for tonight's event. Thank you, Reagan. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Peter, Sasha and the team, Elsa in the background. Thank you all for coming through and do have a good evening. Good night. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.